Welcome, fellow amulet holders, to episode 3 of Ninja Panda Chronicles, a podcast dedicated to the mobile game Dragon Champions. I'm Dorian Blade, and I'll be your bard on this journey through the fantastic realm of Corridor. So pull up a chair, grab a tankard of your favorite beverage, and sit back and relax as we cover the weekly news and updates from Dragon Champions. So before we get into the game updates, I do want to let you guys know that if you want to talk with me, you can do so by coming to my Discord channel, and you can find that at https://discord.me Dorian Blade Gaming. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by going to https://patreon.com/Dorian Blade. So normally, now is the time when I would announce our new patrons, but unfortunately, I don't have any to announce this week. But if you'd like to have your name announced, then obviously just follow the links I mentioned earlier. So let's get right into it. I hope everybody's had a good week. Normally, I'm used to doing this with a co-host, so it's a little awkward for me to be talking just by myself, and I normally record in front of a live audience, so not getting that constant feedback is a little weird. So I hope you guys enjoy it. For those of you watching on YouTube, I apologize for not having video up yet. I was going to try recording with my phone, but it turns out that it only records like 10 minutes at a time. So that's not going to work. And I don't have a machine capable of doing both audio and video right now. Excuse me. So that's going to be put on hold for a little bit anyways. This today is November 6th, 2019, and we got a couple of big things. So within the past 24 hours, the Solius Legendary event has dropped, and it is absolutely amazing, and we're going to go over that a bit more during our news section. But also today we got information from the devs that there's a new update coming this week. So you may have gotten it by the time this podcast, by the time you listen to this. If so, then you can kind of fast forward through this. If not, here is what we can expect from this new update. And this update has a bunch of quality of life updates. This is more of a QOL rather than a content update, which is fantastic, because I think that content obviously is important, but keeping players, especially from a UI perspective, happy and engaged and able to do the things that they need to do efficiently is spectacular. So in this next update, we are going to get the ability to mark our heroes as favorite. I'm hoping that those will sort like to the top, or maybe we'll be able to filter. There is going to be a new tag and a filter for heroes, and that is going to be leader. So anybody that's got a leadership ability is going to be able to be filtered and tagged. There will be no more mirror qualification matches for tournaments. Now you'll just fight versus a weak enemy team for qualification. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll talk about tournaments a bit, but I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like the mirror match because it made me think and do things a bit differently than the quote unquote the AI does with my team. It also kind of shows me how the AI thinks. So personally, I like the qualification matches. I know a lot of people don't, but I mean, you don't have to take the most powerful team in there, and there are ways that you can work around it. But anyway, the qualification matches, mirror matches for that is done. Here's one of my big ones. Now you can disable global chat in the settings. Thank you. Global chat has been a little toxic recently. And honestly, any global chat really will get that way pretty quickly. When you have this many people, there are always bad eggs, some bad actors, and, there are some men that just want to watch the world burn. So you'll now be able to disable the global chat, which is awesome. We will get confirmation for spending Dracoins in the shop, which is nice. A quick story, buddy of mine from Marvel Strike Force, in fact, my old co-host Muggin from Strike Force Damage Control podcast, he one time spent, I want to say like 1,700 cores in Marvel Strike Force because he'd put the phone in his pocket and it kept hitting up against his leg, and it just kept buying stuff with his cores, and it was so bad. I want to say it was like 1,700 cores he lost. So having that confirmation will be nice and can hopefully help mitigate things like that from happening. Because you don't want to have it. You don't want to accidentally buy something you didn't mean to purchase. So now only the leader and officers will be able to start or cancel a raid by default, but that can be changed in the guild settings. The cancel raid button will be moved to a separate tab, which is nice because it's too easy on that screen to just cancel a raid. Tournaments will have push notifications, which is kind of nice. This past week is our first week in tournaments. I've actually missed being able to get 20, 30 spots higher because I just forgot they were leaving. So even just an hour or a half hour notification that tournaments are going to be ending would be fantastic. They've added special symbol support for various different languages. They have fixed a bug where sound disappears for some users. They have fixed a lot of bugs with purchases and guild rollbacks, which has been a big issue, especially here in the past 24 to 48 hours. I know our guild, we tried to swap out players, and they just... the game would not let them go. The guild would keep rolling back, and they'd be back in the guild. We couldn't add the new people in, and we were waiting to launch a raid because of it. So knowing that they have fixed that bug is awesome. They've also said they will send rewards after the build is released for everyone who may have faced that problem. And then a ton of minor bug fixes. So we do like it when bugs get squashed. As a software developer, I usually go by the mantra of, I'm sure everybody's heard the song 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall. So this kind of goes 99 software bugs have been quashed, 99 software bugs quashed. You take one down, you stamp it out. 632 bugs in the code. So it's not the best in the world. I know. I apologize. It's a dad joke, but I do what I can. So that's kind of the game updates for this week and what we can wind up expecting in our next release. So without any further ado, let's kind of jump in here and talk about the thing everybody I'm sure wants to talk about, and that's the Solius event. Let me just say, this event is no joke. The first 4 tiers are relatively easy, as one would expect. But then you hit tier 5, and it's like a face full of pain. I am level 55 currently with 5 and 6 star orcs that are gear 7. I've got some of the major abilities maxed out. I just can't do it. I just can't. And I'm going to be honest. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's kind of cool because they actually said, hey, look, this is our recommendation. And it looks like the recommendation, if you want to confidently be able to go in and beat that event, you really want to go in with what the recommendations are. Everybody's going to try to lowball as much as possible, and that it's unfortunate that we have been taught that you can do that by games, like Galaxy of Heroes or Marvel Strike Force, that sometimes the recommendation isn't actually what you need. It's just kind of there to kind of scare you. But in Champions, it really looks like that recommendation is what you want. Now, you can, with some good RNG and lots of patience, a lot of trial and error, keep going back in and fighting to unlock Solius lower. The lowest I've seen is like level 54, but like those are 7-star max gear, max abilities. Like I said, I'm 55. I've got some of the key abilities maxed out, but I don't have them. I don't have all of them maxed out, especially Mortha and Mar. Mar is really kind of some of the key to that. If you want to unlock it 5-star and you're not high up, because you need his damage. You also need Tromgar. I would say 2 of the key abilities for this is going to be Tromgar's Taunt, Shield of the People, and then Tromgar's Basic. because his taunt is going to apply counter, and then his basic can apply stun. I want to say it's 35% when maxed out. You do not want to run you do not want to run a Tromgar lead. You want to run a Rantha lead. So you want her leadership maxed out to level 4. You don't need to go any higher for this event, at least, because after level 4, she no longer gives bonus lifesteal, which is really kind of important for this event. So, I mean, it's a good thing, in my opinion, that the event is hard. I actually messaged the devs earlier and was like, hey, great job. Love the event. I don't know if releasing a level 60 quote unquote recommendation this soon after global launch is the best way to go. But it's certainly a thing, and they did it. And, I mean, I had a buddy who's spent a few $100s on the game who struggled. He was only 57. He had skills maxed, and I mean, it was just really RNG that kind of got him through that event. And I mean, I know he was getting frustrated. I've experienced some frustration, but a lot of that, I think, is because of, like I said, having played Galaxy for so long and having played Strike Force for a year and a half now. I'm used to events saying, oh, hey, it's going to be the most difficult thing ever, and then you're able to beat it, maybe not with what they recommend beating it with. So I don't know anybody yet that has beaten level 7. I have a feeling McMull will soon, but I think that's got a hard limit of 75 because once you get through, I think there are 10 enemies in the 7th tier. And once you get through, spoiler alert, once you get through the first 2 waves, so 4 drop, then 4 drop, and then 2 drop, and those last 2 are Solius and Nightingale. And apparently they've got like 300% health and 400% damage, or 400% health and 300% damage, something like that. But they are buffed in that. And it's one of those things where it almost feels like you have to be level 75 to complete it. At least that's what I've heard and have been told from other people in my guild. And that person is McMull 2. So a good friend of mine, and I have a tendency to trust him and believe him when it comes to these things. So I'm sure he'll have content out there. So if you want to see somebody beat it, it's probably going to be McMull. And I mean, because he is the Kraken here. So he'll probably get it done this week, and we will see how it is done. Moving on now, we do have some information. This is going to be, I'm going to try to do this as a recurring segment, because one of the really nice things here is there is data mineable information about the upcoming tournaments. And I get all this info from badc.info, again, by my guild leader and friend Medatho. And he has parsed out the upcoming tournament. So every week I'm going to give a rundown of the tournaments, as well as talking about the requirements for those. You know what? Before I do, there was something I wanted to talk about on the Solius event in T5. I want to talk real quick for those of you that haven't done it yet or are trying to do it. The kill order appears to be Freezard, Batty, then Solius. Leave Solius to last because he does garbage damage. He's going to heal people, sure, but the guy you got to get rid out of there as fast as possible is Freezard. He is going to crush your hopes and dreams. I can survive, I want to say 3 AoEs at this point, but I'm just not doing enough damage to kill him, and that's where Mar is so important. Unfortunately, Mar's Beyblade ability does not, even if it crits against all 3, since there's not 4, it doesn't immediately reset and go again. So he can't go off like a top, but he will get through baddies taunt, obviously, and be able to apply damage to everybody. The other thing you really need here is going to be the stuns. So Tromgar's basic, especially with a counter, and then Corcoran's AoE ability. And like I said, I run the Rantha lead in this one because of the lifesteal and the bonus damage that she provides. You can try it with Tromgar if you have high enough abilities and levels, because he's going to give that extra potency and tenacity, which is kind of nice because Batty does do. Actually, I think they all do debuffs of some kind, and Batty can like remove the taunt off of Tromgar, which is just kind of ruin your day. So. If you run Rantha, though, one key thing here, do not drop Battle Poo down. It will just pull away from Tromgar. I have my speed set up so that right when Tromgar's taunt goes away and I throw up the Rejuvenate, then I can use Rantha to call in Battle Poo to kind of mitigate them focusing on a single character. But again, Freezard with his AoEs makes it so hard. So read up on their kits and their abilities. But I think that the kill order is going to be Freezard, Batty, and then Solius. Obviously, you got to worry about Batty's taunt. But if you can AoE past that, or kind of focus fire on her until she gets down, and then hope Solius doesn't give all the buffs to Freezard and heal him back up 100% with those. Because you might as well just end your run and start over. Okay. So, again, upcoming tournaments. I get all this from badc.info. So, let's get into it. We are going to have the first event we are going to have. There are two that are going to run in conjunction with one another. And that is the Wonder 5 tournament and the Little Crown Prince tournament. So the Wonder 5 tournament is going to be for Wonder Lula. That's how they're going to introduce her into the game. It is going to run from November 7th to November 10th. The bracket size on this one's going to be 500, so there'll be a lot more in here. I would probably like to be around 300, but we'll see, because the requirements are going to make it a little bit more difficult, and that's because it's going to require Kel Ryan, Robin Bad, who we just had a tournament for, Elves and Humans. Now the info, the requirements on badc.info say elf, human, but obviously you can't have 6. So I'm wondering if it's going to be Kel Ryan, Robin Bad, and then 2 of elves or 2 of human. And then one of the other. So, 2 elves, 1 human, or 2 humans, 1 elf. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And it could be that, the data pool was bad. So the other one that's running is Little Crown Prince. That one's going to be for premium keys. That is going to run November 7th to November 9th. Now, the bracket size in this one's only going to be 100. And sorry about that, guys. I've been fighting a sore throat the past few days, so if you hear me pause to take a drink of water, I try to give you guys as much of a live radio experience as possible. So I kind of do minimal editing unless there's long breaks or a lot of background noise. I have to start over or something. So you're going to hear me pause and drink every once in a while. So I do apologize. I try not to do that too much, but fighting the sore throat and talking, and we're about 20 minutes in now. So yeah, it's a thing. So the Little Crown Prince is going to be 4 premium keys. It runs November 7th to November 9th. The bracket size is going to be 100. Which, I kind of like. Of course, it depends on the reward bracket for that. So if the reward bracket is going to be minimal at 100, I might have to revise my statement of preferring the smaller, the smaller sizes. So, for example, I am going to be level 55. And I want to get in and take a look real quick. So I'm going to be in the level 52 to 60. In the 61 to 100, you are looking at 40 Drat coins, 120,000 gold, and 30 premium keys. Let's see, 31 to 60 is 60 Drat coins, 180,000 gold, 50 premium keys. The next is 11 to 30. That's going to be 80 Drat coins, 300,000 gold, 75 premium keys, and some random gear stuff. 3 random gear and or ability scrolls. Oof. Well, we need those ability scrolls, right? Let's see. The 31 to 60 was 2 of. 61 to 100 was 1 of. The top 10 is going to be 120 Drat coins, 400,000 gold, 100 premium keys, and 4 random either gear or ability scrolls. And then the top reward, now again, this is only the 52 to 60, is going to be 200 Drat coins, 500,000 gold, and 200 premium keys. I would hope that doesn't really change. No, it doesn't look like it changed for anything. And then it's 5 of either the gear, some different keys, or ability scrolls. So obviously that's not going to change, from 71 to 80, 61 to 70, or anything like that. It's going to be the same for all, which is nice. That way, the rich don't get richer. So that's not horrible. Even if you finish in the lower 5th here, in the 61 to 100, I mean, you're still getting something, right? 15 premium keys. You're not going to be able to open a chest, but I mean, it's going to get you a step closer. So the requirements for this one is going to be Darien, a goblin, and an orc. So congratulations, because everybody's been working on orcs for the Solius event. I probably would not bring Tromgar in here because, we're going to have Darien, Goblin, I'm pretty sure is probably going to be Pigswald is who you're going to want to take if you have him. Old Lore if you don't. And then, let's see, then you can do 2 others. So, obviously you're probably going to want a healer of some kind. But that one seems relatively doable. So that one's not too bad. I'm probably not even bothering with the Wonder Lula. Michael Ryan and Robin Bad they're just bad. So, yeah. And I have a feeling that because I'm in the 52 to 60 bracket, I'm probably going to see a lot of Soliuses and Night Teal. And I'm just not going to want to deal with that. So, yep, not going to be fun. Let's see. The next tournament after that is going to be Swords and Magic. This one's going to be for Golden Keys. That is going to run November 9th to November 11th, and that'll have a bracket size of 100, and that will require Sharp and 2 mages, and then 2 open slots. I have a feeling that the reward table for that's going to be nearly identical to the Little Crown Prince tournament. And then after that, the last one rounding out the week is going to be Field Medicine. That's going to be for practice keys, and that will run November 11th to November 13th. Again, it'll be a bracket size of 100. That will require Illyria, 2 Travelers, and then 2 others. So, examples of Travelers are like Foul, Rantha. I think Robin Bad's a Traveler. So, I mean, there are some characters in there that you have been working on that you'll definitely be able to use. So that's nice. And with those bracket sizes, it's going to be, it's going to be nice. I think seeing how they get in. I like the smaller brackets. Let's look at the Wonder Lula really quick here. I should have done this earlier, and I apologize. I'm just really bad at this week, apparently. So, Wonder Lula, they are alphabetical there. So, Wonder Lula here is going to, if you're in rank 1 to 8, you're going to get 600 Drat coins, 800,000 gold, and 100 Wonder Lula shards. And then you'll get 5 random either gear, keys, or ability scrolls. Rank 9 to 40 is going to be 300 Drat coins, 700,000 gold, and 80 Wonder Lula, and 4 random. 41 to 80 is going to be 150 Drat coins, 600,000 gold, 50 Wonder Lula. I have a feeling that's going to be right around where I'm going to be at, but we'll have to see. I may put some work into Kel Ryan and Robin Bad, but man, with Solius, I really doubt I'm going to do that. 81 to 100 is going to be 100 Drat coins, 450,000 gold, and 25 Wonder Lula. And then the thank you for playing is going to be 50 Drat coins, 300,000, and 10 Wonder Lula. And for those of you keeping track at home, that is ranks 181 to 500. So there you have it. That's going to be the upcoming tournaments over the next week. If you want more info, you can go to badc.info. Again, that's Bravo Echo Alpha Delta Charlie.info, and look at the tournament information there to kind of see what the upcoming tournaments are, as well as, you know, requirements and extra tags. So now I want to talk about, and I probably went out of order on these. I probably should have done this before going into the tournaments, but somebody had asked a question a couple of weeks ago that I did not have a chance to do some research on or include in the grab bag, and I think it was last week. And they were asking about the orc ability priorities. So this right now obviously is extremely important with the Solius event. So we're going to spend a few minutes here talking about the orc abilities and why they are so important. And I want to give a great big shout out to one of my guild mates, Crouching Llama, for helping me with this. Actually, I'm not going to say helping with this. This is pretty much his. He walked me through what this is, and after talking to him and going over the abilities, I have to agree with him 100%. So all credit goes to Crouching Llama. He is kind of the orc master for our shard. So that's really good to have. I'm just so blessed to be in a guild with Medatho, Crouching Llama, McMull2. It's a real blessing. So really happy. So the first ability here on the list is going to be Rantha's Lead, Might of the Clans. And the reason why you only take it to level 4 is because lifesteal is the important part of her lead. Trom's Taunt, Max, Trom's lead will be better after all the other abilities are maxed, and because Ranth stops giving more lifesteal after 4, and obviously lifesteal is the important part of her lead. Next, you've got Tromgar's Taunt, Shield of the People, and you want to take this one to 6 all the way, because that means that you can taunt turn 1, and you're taunting and countering. So I do highly recommend for this event. He has Tromgar's basic a little further down. I actually move it up to number 3 personally, because I think you need that stun firing off, and you need as much chance as you can. And Tromgar's crushing blow at levels at tier ability 6 is going to give you a 35% chance. And I cannot stress how important it is that you need to get Trom's taunt up as soon as possible. Orcs are squishy, and so if you're not protecting them with Trom, then they're just going to get crushed by the amount of damage that these people put out. So one of the keys here too, make sure that you have Trom on one of the edges or one of the backsides, because Freezard's ability hits Trom and adjacent. So you want him on an outside corner, and you want to have, obviously, your tankiest people next to him. And that, for me at least, that's Corcoran, and unfortunately Rantha being in the leader spot, so that's her as well. So next, I have Kromgar's Crushing Blow for the stuns, but Crouching Llama has Mars' third ability, Rage, followed by Mars' second ability, This Will Hurt Really Bad. And the reason for that is because he's your key damage dealer. Crouching's on 6. I think he's going to try 7. But Especially, those two abilities are especially clutch in 6 because there are more enemies. Maxing his ability 2 means that it resets on 4 crits, and his ability 3 gives crit chance up and crit damage up. So the crit chance up is like plus 30% crit chance. So if you have 50% crit chance, obviously he's going to have an 80% chance to crit each enemy. So obviously the higher his crit, the more likely it is you can just keep Beyblading them to death, unquote. He's left helpful on the 5-star because he can't get 4 crits, so you can skip maxing him for 5-star, but if you're going for 6 or higher, you definitely want to take him up. And I think that's why I have Tromgar's at 3 instead of 6. Next, Crouching has Corkrum's second ability, Storm. And the reason here is because Storm is going to stun, right? So this is kind of where you want Trom's lead because you want the higher potency for the stuns. But, it's kind of a thing, where you kind of also need Rantha for the damage and the lifesteal. But you definitely want to get Storm up as much as possible because it will give you a higher chance to stun. I like what Crouching said here in his notes. He says Quark's ability 3 is Atom tier. Just skip it altogether. They have to be burned and stunned for it to activate, and it barely does more damage than his ability 1 and doesn't burn. So you basically never use it, which is very, very, very true. Here he has Trom's basic Crushing Blow. I've already kind of gone over why I move it up to 3. Next is Corkrum's basic Lava Boulder. That's just mainly for the damage. And then the next 3 are all Mortha. And it's Mortha's healing, Chain Heal. That's because you need to be able to get as much heal as possible to the 3 that she hits. Her passive Shamanism is at number 9. And the reason why you want that is because in what I find very interesting, but kind of a rarity for games like these, is the heal is based off of not like the healer's health, but her damage. So her passive Shamanism increases the amount of magic damage by a percentage based on how many orcs are in the party, and obviously you're going to run all 5 orcs. So I should have pulled this up earlier and I didn't. I apologize. I've gotten a couple dings from people I know about that. So, so at max level, she gains 10% magic damage for each living orc in the party. So she's going to get a 50% magic damage increase. And that is going to absolutely be crazy because, like, for example, I've got her 5-star. Her magic damage... let's see, 6.9. So you're going to get, plus 50% to that if her ability's maxed out. So, you're looking at like 10.5, increase of max, per. So yeah, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. I don't have the base numbers. I apologize. And Medatha only puts in the increase per level. So I can only tell you like what it's going to do from a base damage standpoint. But getting that plus 50% is going to be fantastic. So if she's got 2,000 magic damage, it's going to be 3,000. And since her heal is going to be based off the her magic damage, obviously you want that magic damage to be as high as possible. And then finally, he's got Mortha's third ability, Personal Curse. And the reason being here is Personal Curse is going to hit like a Mack truck. It's going to deal 280% of magic damage to an enemy, plus give a random ally shield equal to 280% of her magic damage. So not only are you going to be dealing damage, but you're also going to be giving a shield to a random ally, which is really, really, really nice. her chain healing, just to give you some data on that, it's going to heal the targeted ally by 400% of her magic damage, and then chain to the 2 lowest health allies, healing the first by 300 and the second by 200 of her magic damage. So if we go back to we have 2,000 magic damage, well, now with her shamanism maxed out, it's 3,000, which means that chain healing is going to heal 12k for the first person, it's going to heal 9k for the second person, and 6k for the third person. So really significant amounts of damage or healing, and she's currently the only clan's healer that we have, which makes her muy importante. So you definitely want to have Mortha ramped up to get through, if not just through the Solius event, then for the clan's campaign as well. So there's the orc guide. The rest of the abilities, beyond these top 10 are really kind of equal, and you just kind of do whatever you want at that point. I hope you guys found that useful. I know I did. It really helped me out a lot. I would say that the other important thing, especially for the event, is going to be your runes. You want to make sure that you are maxing out the abilities that you need, or maxing out the stats that you need to be able to successfully do those. All right. Well, this is the time of week where I normally would just start doing a grab bag, but unfortunately, I do not have anything. I only have like 2 questions, so I would ask you, if you like the show and you'd like to have your questions answered, please come to my Discord and drop a question into my Ninja Panda Chronicle grab bag channel. Or you can send me a DM, leave a comment if you're watching on or listening on YouTube. Just let me know what you want to know about. So since we're only like 35 minutes or so in, before we get to the grab bag, let's get into something I didn't get a chance to do last week, and that is the Panda progression guide. So the Panda progression guide, if you guys remember the Demon progression guide, this is going to be really the same thing from Medatho, but it's going to cover pandas and walk through different levels. So ultimately, you're going to have a path towards Patriarch Key, Kinley, Master Duo, Snorri, and Revol. It's very capable in Arena, but also excels in Tower and Raid. So Patriarch Chi, sorry, I actually got corrected on that last week. It is not Ki. That's very American of me. QI in Chinese is more of a Chi sound. So it's Patriarch Chi, not Patriarch Ki. So you're welcome. But Patriarch Chi is a unique healer. He has a superb shielding capabilities with random healing as well. His synergy with Kinley is a core part of the team. Kinley is one of the most irritating tanks in the game to kill. His natural regen combined with his dodge makes him incredibly durable, and his taunt has almost 100% uptime. Master Duo is lacking early in the game. He is great once his skills are up. His regen buff applies to 4 of the 5 team members and gives them 30% turn meter on application. His single target damage is respectable, and he seldom needs assistance from Patriarch Chi to stay alive. Revol is the damage powerhouse. He has strong AoE and single target damage. He applies bleed and stacks damage based on the number of bleeds on the enemy. He's also got very good health and shields for a damager. And finally, we have Snorri. Snorri is one of the best available order damage dealers, and he also applies AoE bleed, which powers up Revol even further. So the guide is, again, badc.info/pandas-progression. Starts at level 20. Again, at level 20, you should be joining an active guild with a proactive leader, maximize guild quest participation, join every raid, buy Kinley exclusively from the guild shop until he's at 7 stars. If you have over 1,600 currency stored up, you can buy shards for another character, but you want to make sure that you can get Kinley 4 times per day. Once you hit level 25, you're going to get access to the arena. Here you're going to be running Darien, Illyria, Rantha, Master Duo, and either Mortha or Kagi. So, obviously your options early are very limited. That team is going to provide the best chance for early arena victories. Obviously, you choose between Kagi or Mortha, depending on whether or not you need healing or damage. What you should be doing here. Now, the guide goes obviously a lot more in depth. It will provide you with, optimal order and clans teams, raid teams, and then what you should be doing. So you want to climb the arena as fast as possible without buying extra attacks. You want to start farming Master Duo in arena. As soon as you unlock Kinley, level him and gear him as far as you can. Replace Darian in the team with Kinley in the leader slot. When you unlock Tromgar, which is probably going to be level 28 to 32, replace Adam on your clans team with him. Replace Rantha on arena team with Tromgar. And I will just tell you, Kinley and Tromgar combo, especially behind two healers, that's just horrible. Gear and level Corcoran as soon as you can to get him daily quests. Farm Kinley daily. Farm his heroics daily. And then farm Puncher Face heroics daily. Demons 1-2 is easy. Order 6-12 will take a bit longer. Gear and level him and replace Kagi on your clans team. Next milestone is level 35. So in arena, here who you should be using is going to be Kinley, Illyria, Foul, Master Duo, and Tromgard. So your arena team is starting to take shape with your long-term tank and your key support damage dealer. Tromgar as off tank can last until you get Revol for the damage boost. So what you should be doing between 35 and 40 is start farming Snorri from the tower shop. Save all currency to buy him unless you have above 1600 until he is unlocked. When Snorri is unlocked, gear and level him ASAP and replace Foul on the arena team. Once Snorri is unlocked, buy his hero stones twice per day until he is 7-star. Spend your remaining tower currency on Mortha until she is 5-star. Once Mortha is 5-star, switch surplus tower currency to Puncher Face or Corcoran. Now, obviously, if you're going for Solius and you're going for that, you want to put as much into the orcs as possible. And they are a great raid team, and they are a great tower team. So it's not like you're investing into nothing there. So that's a good thing. At level 40, nothing new, but some of your characters should be coming online. So now you're going to be running Kinley, Illyria, Snorri, Master Duo, and either Tromgar or Foul. You use Foul if you need more damage, and use Tromgar if you need more tankiness. What you should be doing, Mortha should be 5-star or near there. Once she is, switch to buying Puncher Face shards. At level 50, many of your farms are coming into place. You're still running basically the same arena team: Kinley, Illyria, Snorri, Master Duo, Tromgar, or Foul. But here's where things start to get up, right? So you should be able to farm Patriarch Chi soon. He should immediately become part of your daily farm, as it will be a long farm, looking at probably 70+ days. When Snorri finishes in Tower Shop, start splitting between Corcoran, Puncher Face, and finishing Mortha's Stars. Push towards the Revol farm ASAP. Save scrolls to upgrade Patriarch Chi's abilities as soon as you unlock him. When you do, make him the lead on the arena team and drop Illyria or Foul for good. Replace Illyria on any Kinley team with Patriarch Chi. And then when Master Duo finishes in arena, switch to Mar for your clan's team. So when we hit level 60, finally you've reached level 60. At this level, your arena formation should be stable until somewhere in the late 70s. So who you should be using: Patriarch Chi, Kinley, Snorri, Master Duo, and Revol. Revol can be added when he is with 1 to 2 stars of the rest of your team. So if your team is all 6 stars, then when he is 4 or 5 stars, bring him in. So what should you be doing here? When you unlock Revol, gear and level him. Since he will be low stars, he will probably need to be a few gear pieces ahead of the rest of your members, and then replace Tromgar on your arena team. Revol will take a long time to get ready to replace on your raid teams. Maximize his farm and push towards his second node when you are able. Push campaigns as far as you can. Gear becomes long farms after 60. Some characters will require equipment you cannot farm yet. It's best to scale back your refreshes to 3 times per day if you're pure free-to-play, and save Dracoins for buying equipment you can't get to. Now, level 65 plus, you should begin your true in-game farms. When you can, push for Nightteel or Xanterra farms. Nightteel or Xanterra can replace Master Zuo, and then work on raid teams for Phase 3. We'll run through the top 10 skills he's got here. Tier 1 skill is Patriarch Chi's Sensei Leadership. You want to max that out first. Or that's the most important, followed by Kinley's Spiritual Recovery, which is his passive. Next, you've got Patriarch Chi and his Fortitude skill, which gives the shield buff and the cleanse. Next, you have Kin Lee with his 5-on-1, which is his taunt. Then we have Patriarch Chi's Crane Technique for his passive. Next, we have Master Duo's Path of the Tiger, which is AoE regen buff. Let's see, at number 7, we've got Revol. Revol's Bloodlust ability, because that's his passive. At number 8, we've got Snorri's Berserk Stance, which is a self buff. Then we've got Snorri's Daily Whirlwind, which is AoE attack bleed. And then finally, we have 2 more. We have Patriarch Chi's Meditation, which is the AoE armor buff. And then Revol's Swipe, which is AoE attack. Now, obviously, there are many more that you can and should be doing here. But those are kind of your priority order for that. So I hope you guys liked the Panda progression guide. I'm going to get with Medatho and try to get some more guides going. I think that we've had some extremely interesting characters released recently, especially with Cruella and Solius. So I'm going to, even though I don't have Solius, we're going to shift over into some theory crafting. Theory crafting is something that I absolutely love to do. And looking at kits and interactions, we are going to talk about the 2 new characters that we've got within the past week or so, and that is Cruella and Solius. So I think that these 2 work really, really well together, and the reason being is Solius's lead is absolutely fantastic and amazing, and Cruella's passive can do so many things for your team. So when we talk about these, we want to think of, if you're not familiar with theory crafting, you want to look at how the abilities interact, what they do, and what it is that every character brings to the table. So one of the things is I usually start with my leader, right? Who's going to be my leader? Because they're going to be doing something for the entire team. If they're not doing something for the entire team, they're not your leader. You're going to kind of push them off to the side and think about who you want to worry about next. So Solius's leadership ability is called Guardian of the Sun. And so what happens with his leadership is allied members of the order receive a 25% physical damage increase and a 25% magic damage increase. All humans will receive all allied humans will receive a 10% counterattack chance increase for each living human in the party. All allied elves receive a 5% crit chance increase for each living elf in the party. And all allied pandas receive a 5% potency increase for each living panda in the party. So right off the top, by giving him leader and running him with an order team, you're going to be getting 25% damage and 25% magic damage increase. And that's going to be crazy good. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I take that back. I think Guardian of the Sun may be his passive, and Inspiration may be his leadership. So I'm sorry, that Guardian of the Sun is his passive. I don't have the character in front of me, so I'm going from the BADC.info, and he doesn't list each one. So Inspiration, I think, is his leadership. So, but either Guardian of the Sun or Inspiration are both really, really good. But when the battle starts, all allied human tanks will receive an armor increase for 3 turns. All allied human healers and tacticians receive cheat death for 3 turns. And all allied human fighters receive potency for 3 turns. And if Nightteel is on the battlefield, she receives all these buffs as well. So Nightteel is going to get armor increase, cheat death, and potency for 3 turns, which is absolutely fantastic for her because she's got the ability block. She's got to give everybody the crit chance up. She hits really, 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 really hard. I mean, cheat death is, cheat death. So at least for 3 turns, she's basically going to be unkillable. So I would put her on the team. I would put Cruella on the team. And the reason why I'm going to put Cruella on the team is mainly because not only does she have some decent damage from her basic and her first special, but her create reflection ability is going to be able to summon a reflection of a target enemy hero. And you're going to get them with 70% health and shields, 70% damage, and 75% speed. So it's not a 1-to-1 copy, but I mean, imagine being able to add a Tromgar or add a Xantara or, a Kiara. I mean, just the possibilities are endless. But her passive is called Bound by Shadows. And this is where I really think that having her on this team is going to be phenomenal, because at the end of Cruella's turn, if there are 3 defenders on the battlefield, all allied defenders get a tenacity increase for 1 turn. If there are 3 healers, all allied healers gain cheat death for 1 turn. If there are 3 tacticians, all allied tacticians gain haste for 1 turn. If there are 3 warriors, all allied warriors gain counterattack for 1 turn. If there are 3 rangers, all allied rangers get an accuracy increase for 1 turn. Here's where it is. If there are 3 mages, all allied mages gain invisibility for 1 turn. So, Cruella is a mage. Nightheal is a mage. We need 1 more order mage. As unfortunately, Solius is not classed as a mage. He's a healer. So I'm going to put Friezard on that team because Friezard is going to do really good AoE damage. He is going to be, that 3rd mage, so that you're not worried about, who your opponent is running. And that is all 3 of the order mages. There are no others right now. So Friezard obviously, does really, really good. He does 230% damage on his basic with a 75% chance to inflict slow for 2 turns. He'll do 220% magic damage to 3 enemies with a 50% chance to inflict armor decrease. Blizzard deals 20% magic damage and has a 75% chance to decrease their turn meter by 25%. And he survives a fatal blow. Any effects active on him are removed. He recovers 25% health, can be triggered once per battle. If Snorri is on the battlefield, he receives the same buff. So we've got Solius, we've got Cruella, we've got Nightheal, we've got Friezard, and for the 5th, I'm going to give it a toss-up. So if you're running a kind of a more defensive mindset, I would tell you to run Kinley. He's an absolutely fabulous tank, and he's going to be nigh on unstoppable. But I think running Snorri is going to be a much better option here, because Snorri is flat out one of the best damage dealers in the game, and if he gets cheat death as well, because he's with Friezard, that is absolutely fantastic. So Snorri's basic deals 250% physical damage with a 50% chance to gain an accuracy increase for 2 turns. His Deadly Whirlwind is 220% of physical damage to all enemies and inflicts bleed for 2 turns. And then the next is his Berserker Stance. He gains 50% turn meter, removes 3 debuffs. While in Berserker Stance, he gains 25 crit chance and 40 speed. The effect cannot be prevented or removed. Using the ability again will cancel Berserk Stance. And then his passive is Dragon Hunter. He gains 30% magic armor and 30% tenacity while not in Berserk Stance. If Friezard is on the battlefield, he receives the same buff. So Friezard and Snorri work really well together, and you're going to see that I think that running those 5 may simply be some of the best options that you can have here, because if we look at Tactician real quick, I don't see 3 Tacticians from the order that I would worry about, at least not right now. Because we've only got Snorri, Rin, and Thelaine, who's not in the game yet. So your opponent would have to run, well, and buff the demon. He's also in the order. So you're not going to get the tactician bonus for the cheat death. But when you have Friezard and Snorri together, they'll work in conjunction and basically give each other cheat death. So again, to me, that is probably the arena team that I would run. I apologize. My phone keeps hearing me say stuff, and even though I have it muted, or I thought I had it muted, it keeps trying to talk to me. So that's the team that I would probably run. So again, that's Solius, Nighteel, and those two are like peas in a pod. You don't really run one without the other. Add Cruella, Friezard, and Snorri, and I think that in arena you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. That team is just absolutely going to dominate, and I think is going to be the top end meta. I could be wrong. Again, I don't have Solius, and I'm just theory crafting on a character I don't have just based off of his kit and other kits. I do have all the other characters, so I kind of know how they work. Well, I take that back. One of my biggest regrets in this game is having not bought the Friezard pack when it was offered for $1.99. I would go back and do that in a heartbeat. So I don't have Friezard, but I do have Cruella, Snorri, and Nighteel. So those guys are great, absolutely awesome. And like I said, I would run Solius as leader. In fact, of those 5, he's the only one with a leader ability. All right, so now we are going to move into our grab bag section of the week. So this week I only have 2 questions. So our first question here is from Captain Murdoch. Captain Murdoch says, it seems Demons, Pandas, Orc, and Pride are the dominant teams, but which one do you think is best? Well, man, if you're talking about solely only that like if you're talking Pandas and it's all Pandas, so it's Patriarch Chi, it's Master Duo, it's Shaolin, it's Foul and Ken Lee. I mean, it's okay. Pride, you're looking at like Hera, Revol, and a few others. I don't know the Pride off the top of my head. Demons, you can't put a full team together. You've only got a few that are really available right now. I think Orcs as a pure race team is probably the best. Not only do you need them for Solius, but they work well in raids. They work well in the tower. So I would say that Orcs are probably the dominant synergy team. But I am following the quote unquote demon progression path. And I think that team is really good. Although, even though you didn't mention them here, I do think that the team that I just talked about, the Order team, is going to be the best team out there, and it's primarily a human team. Obviously with the one elf Nighteel. So, I think that the Solius team is going to be the best. I think that from a synergistic race team, though, I think Orcs are going to be the most dominant of those that you listed, and I think they're going to give you the best bang for your buck, especially early on. Now, my good friend Prig Kino, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, Singapore. It's a word in Singapore for shrimp. He told me this one time. I don't remember, but he asked, what quality of life update would you like most to see? And I think they kind of added it here. Actually, there is a quality of life update I would love to see, and it's something that I fell in love with playing Galaxy of Heroes that they added to Strike Force last year. I don't think as well as Heroes, but squads. I would love to be able to put squads together, especially considering like we had the tower, and you run your tower team, and then at level 3 you've got orcs and humans, or orcs in order, clans in order, and then at 6 again you've got clans in order. So I think without having to switch between teams and going to find people, I would like to have a save squads, so that I could put raid teams together. I would love that, and I would love being able to like save mods and put mods, be able to like group mods together and like swap them easily from one character to another. If I have my arena mods and I want to, runes. If I have my arena runes and I want to move them over to somebody for an event or for a tournament, then I can do that and then move them back. So I think you asked for one, I gave you two. So save squads and either saving runes or the ability to swap runes as a set. The other quality of life update, I'm sorry, you're going to get a third one because I just thinking about runes. This one really bugs me, and I hope they fix it soon. The rune filter resets. So I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you're on a rune and let's say you click the northeast and then you go to the filter and you create your filter and it shows those runes. If you then click on another rune, it resets the filter. I want to apply the same filter without the specified rune. So I'd like that to be, I can filter runes if I really want to, but the default should be show me everything. Just filter based off of either my selected rune or, don't reset the filter. Basically, I find that to be extremely irritating. All right, we're winding down. We just hit the 1 hour mark, so let's talk real quick about who I'm farming, and I'm working on orcs for at least the next week. I'm really hopeful I can get their ability levels up high enough to get Solius. I was really surprised we still don't have an ability pack, but the devs obviously don't want us progressing too quickly, because if we progress too quickly, then we're going to reach a point where we just kind of are sitting around twiddling our thumbs going, why am I still playing this game? So we need to have some resource block or resource gate somewhere. Abilities, I get it. That's fine. It's just, it's a struggle sometimes. So yeah, I'm working on my orcs. And hopefully I'll have something really exciting to share next week. Hopefully I'll have unlocked Solius. Just to let you guys know, I am working on getting an interview with the devs. I've talked to John the Guru. We've kind of worked something out in theory. I'm working on a list of questions to send over there. So if you would like to ask the devs a question, jump over to my Discord server and jump into and just leave it in the Play Quantum interview questions channel, and I'll try to add them to my list. I don't want to ask too many because I want to keep the interview to somewhere between half an hour to an hour at most, since they are giving up their time freely. And hopefully we'll be able to work something out for this month or early next month. Thank you for listening to the Ninja Panda Chronicles. You can find us on all your favorite podcast apps, and it helps if you do rate and review the show, as it does help others find it. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get notified of all my YouTube content, and please leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you'd like to talk to me, you can do so on my Discord server at discord.me/DorianBlade Gaming. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by going to my Patreon page at patreon.com/DorianBlade, where I have subscriptions from $2 all the way up to $20. Finally, I want to give a great big shout out to everyone who supports and listens to the show. And, honestly, without you guys, there'd be no show. Until next week, good luck and good dragon hunting.